Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I did a video earlier this morning discussing how an individual had lost 325 pounds on what we called the Walmart diet. And that's kind of not really the whole point of it. It has nothing to do with Walmart, but it was the method that he used. Now, invariably, someone will always come in and say, hey, it's just calories in and calories out. And while, yes, that is technically true, that really oversimplifies the problem, because if it was simply a matter of calories in, calories out, or even people doing if it fits your macros and still working in some junk every day and just tracking their calories and exercising, no one would be obese, because no one actually wants to be obese. The majority of people who are morbidly obese, I'm talking 300, 400, 500 pounds, don't want to be that way. And when people try to trivialize it that way and say, oh, you just have to, it's just calories in, calories out, they don't understand that the calories in is the problem. It's people, for one, being sedentary, and two, people having negative appetite responses to food. The problem we run into, and this is something all these skinny, if it fits your macros guys don't understand, who can just work in Pop-Tarts and ice cream every day, these people have never been truly obese. Because if they had been, they would understand that for many people, eating certain foods, low satiety foods, high sugar foods, things like that, makes you hungrier. And to them, they can't comprehend that how they could eat half a box of Pop-Tarts, 500 calories of Pop-Tarts, and in 15 minutes be 3 times hungrier than before they ate them. That just, those people don't understand that. So then they don't understand how someone could say, man, eating only 2,000 calories a day while still working in food like that would be impossible. Because again, they've never experienced a situation where they ate 500 or 1,000 calories of food, and then an hour later were so ravenously hungry that they wanted to chew their own arm off, to where their stomach actually hurts, to where all they could think about now is food, 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 to the point where they can't even get anything else done unless they eat something else. And that's because lower satiety foods for people who have these leptin issues, people who have these dopamine issues in their brain, only make you hungrier. And the more of them you eat, the hungrier you get. So how do you track your calories, and how do you control calories in if you're eating foods that the more of them you eat, the more of them you want to eat in the next bite, and the hungrier you get? And we even have studies now showing that eating heavily processed foods and heavily processed carbs for some people, depending upon their dopamine response in their brain, makes them even hungrier their next meal than if they hadn't eaten them at all. So they'll actually eat even more calories as a result of it the next time they sit down and eat. It reduces people's ability to have portion control. And people who say things like, well, it's just willpower, do you think willpower exists outside of your brain chemistry? Like, do you think willpower is some magical force sent down from God or aliens or an angel or something that you have? Willpower is your brain chemistry. And when you eat certain things that alter your dopamine and leptin and brain chemistry, that's it. You lost your willpower the moment you put those things in your mouth. And it's not, willpower is not something external from your brain. You alter your brain chemistry, you're going to have an effect. Just like you should tell someone, don't inject more heroin. It's just willpower. It's not. Once the brain has dopamine connections with certain foods and has a hormonal and chemical response, that your willpower is gone. Your willpower is controlled by your brain physically and chemically. It doesn't exist outside of that. So when you alter those things, that's it. You chose to alter your willpower the moment you injected that heroin in your body, or the moment you ate that piece of cake. For people who respond to these things in an addictive type response. So it's not an issue of willpower. The biggest factor is, like this guy had done, not only massively increase his physical activity and trained himself that when he got hungry, he had to do a physical activity to go earn his food. So he programmed in his brain exercise before food. So again, he's going to have to put in work to eat. And that's, again, programming your brain, because willpower isn't actually a real thing outside of that. You have to program your brain. And then he chose to eat very filling, high satiety foods instead of junk food that's just going to make him even hungrier and make him eat 7,000 or 8,000 calories that day, because that's how you get to 600 pounds like that guy was. It's not an issue of having a low appetite. Anyone who reaches that sort of body weight has a mind-boggling, insane appetite that the average person, particularly the average fitness enthusiast, cannot actually comprehend, any more than you could comprehend why a person can't stop injecting heroin into their body. Why don't they just quit? Well, it's not that simple once things like dopamine and leptin and ghrelin and all of that get involved in your brain. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.